All right, so how's it going, my comic chat army? We're here today with Joel and John, the creators of Yule. How y'all doing, gentlemen?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing great, buddy. Happy 4th.
Yeah, happy 4th to you. Thank you. So tell us how the name Yule came about. Yule, not Yule.
Yes, we were kind of talking about this a little bit before the show. So, yeah, it's called Yule, and I got a picture of it here so I can show you the title, right? So it's spelled Jol, and it's got the 2 dots above the O. So we wanted a Scandinavian, Norwegian kind of word, and it's like Yule, like Yule log, Yule tide, that kind of thing. The reason for the name is this book can appeal to kids that are probably age 7 right up through people that are 80, right? So we tried to make it something that was appealing to a wide audience. We got young kids. My daughters are 6 and 8. They're learning how to read and things and write. And most kids can easily write short words, right? So I figured the kids would learn how to write a 3-letter word. They can write Jol. It's not my name. A lot of people think I named it after myself. I didn't. So that's part of it. Another one was I was at the local comic book shop, and I bring my daughters with me, and I'm 6'3", so I can see when I'm on the shelves. They're usually in alphabetical order when you're in the store, right? So I can see the A titles. She can't see those. She can see the Z titles. I can't see those. I'm not going to bend way down there. My 40-year-old back, knees and things. Sometimes it's hard getting down there. I will, but it's hard to get down there. So from a marketing standpoint, we wanted something that landed in the middle of the alphabet, so children that height, 7 and 8, could see that on the shelf. So there's a little bit of a marketing science behind that also. So that was kind of the reason. So John had originally had another title for the book, but we ended up changing it. So John can share that. I forget what you called it, John, but you had another.
Yeah. I started writing it in novel form like 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and I was going with the title "Trapped at the North Pole," which really didn't, fit the grand scheme of things because he's not trapped at the North Pole the whole time. He's traveling different dimensions and times and all that, so it really didn't fit anyways. So.
All right. This is y'all's first comic book ever, right?
Sure is. Yeah. I mean, I did some things as a kid, just goofing around with my brother, but nothing this serious, right? So this is a 35-year effort finally coming to reality. So that's fine. Yeah. Taking a while.
How many issues are y'all going to put out?
For this story arc, it's 5 issues. I mean, we talk all the time about how it really could expand into its own universe. There's so many characters and things we can do with it. And, we'll see how successful the 5 books are and go from there. But for what we're doing right now, Joel's more than halfway done issue 2 right now, as far as pencils and ink on some of them, I think, right? So we're trying to move right along here, but 5 books for this particular story.
All right, and number 1's currently on Kickstarter now?
Yeah, we got like 16 days left, I think.
Yeah, it's going fast, believe it or not. It's going quick. Yeah.
All right, so I guess tell us how y'all two met and how y'all two met.
So our day jobs, we actually worked together, and we used to, before COVID and working from home, we used to sit right across from each other in the office, and in Joel's fine art stuff was hanging up all around the office. He knew I was into art too. We used to talk about it all the time. He also knew I was into horror and wanting to write too. So that was just conversational. There was no plans to do anything at that point. We used to just talk about it casually, and then we got stuck working from home, and he reached out and asked if I had any ideas for a comic. I had already been writing Yule as a novel, and it just kind of clicked that this would really work so much better as a comic series anyways. So that's where we started. That was back in November, I think, when we started just chatting about it. I think maybe December, but but we met at our day jobs, and so it wasn't like some random online, looking for a writer, looking for an artist situation.
Right. Tell us some of the struggles about making your own comic book.
I can talk to that a little bit. So, I wasn't really set up technology wise to do this book. I had an old copy of like Manga Studio 5, which is now a lot of people might know that as Clip Studio. So that was a CD-ROM. Remember those, right? You put the CD-ROM, right? It was one of those. It wasn't cloud-based. I have a very old Mac Mini that I was working with that's like on its dying legs. So, if you didn't remember to save your files when you're working with Manga Studio, sometimes that system crashed, so you can lose work. And I'm begging the God that the computer doesn't die, right? So we had a few close calls where we thought we lost like 12 pages. So I'm like, wow, dude, that's like 18 days of work that's out the window. I'm gonna have to redo 12 pages. But luckily we found them, in there. I'd saved like 80% of the version of the file, so I was able to go through. But since then, with the support of the fans and things already, I was able to upgrade some of the equipment. So I got the iPad Pro. I've been working on that. I actually like that a lot better now than the Cintiq 24 that I got, and got the web-based Clip Studio. So now everything saves automatically, and there's no fear of it dying. So, boy, there were some really close calls there in dealing with that. So, yeah.
So I forgot to ask y'all, what's the book about? You said dimensions and time travel?
Yeah, you will. So it follows an 8-year-old named William Sheldon, and he finds this ancient artifact, this cube, in the back of an antique shop. And he buys it because it's sitting on the junk shelf for $1. He thinks it looks cool. And then next thing you know, he ends up triggering this thing. It's actually a device that Santa used to use to control time, freeze time, so he could deliver all the gifts in a single night. So we don't find out in book 1 why it's in the antique shop, but he finds the device, activates it, and accidentally triggers it, launching him into this unknown dimension between home and the North Pole. And that's where issue 1 takes him. There's some evil lurking in the woods. They work for an evil half-elf named Ragnar, which we, again, don't meet in issue 1. But, deeper than that, it's about him overcoming his anger issues. This cube is known as the Kasi. It actually feeds off emotion. So he's going to battle his inner anger issues later in the series where, because he can't control the anger, he ends up going to some spots that he probably wouldn't want to, some locations that are not really the safest. So it's a good versus evil situation. He needs to get this Kasi back to safety, rescue Santa, save Christmas, save the world.
Nice. I like that. That's very different and original too. Let's see. Do y'all have a website?
Yep. Joe, you want to go with that? You got all those handles.
Yeah, sure. So right now it's lividcomics.com, and I share it with my fine art site because I have a lot of fans on the fine art world, which really help facilitate what we're doing here. So when they go to lividcomics.com, there's going to be 2 portals. You can enter in either the comic side of what we're doing, or you can do my fine art stuff. Those are probably, we're obviously just trying to get that audience interested in comics. And that's been really kind of cool too, is like a lot of these people that are supporting us have never bought a comic book before. So kind of honored to be there first there too. But you go to lividcomics.com is the site, and you can see some of my painting stuff, and you can see the comic book stuff as well. Eventually Livid Comics will break off and have its own standalone site away from that, but right now it's just combined.
All right. And with both y'all being family men, have y'all wrote y'all's family into this story at all?
Yeah, the main character's name is Will, after my son. So, and that's kind of where the concept came up, was talking after Christmas a couple years back with him. He said he liked Halloween more because it was scary. So I started thinking up ways to make Christmas scary that haven't been done before. So I thought, what if a kid gets trapped at the North Pole, but it's on the outskirts where there's this scary creatures and whatnot, and then it kind of just expanded from there. But so we named the main character after him, and we've talked about throwing in some names from other family members too. But
yeah, my daughter's 8, so she's a perfect model for me too. When I need something artistically, we dress her up and model her and pose her out and things. So. She's in there, in terms, she's actually like Will's body, but, not, Will, obviously. So it's kind of cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did y'all get the chance to go to any conventions or anything before the world shut down?
No, we didn't. I mean, we went to a comic show 2 months ago, and it was pretty packed. But this was after everything started to pick back up a little bit. We're going to a Comic Con here in Manchester, New Hampshire, in September. But I guess timing wise for us, it worked out, right? Because we wouldn't have been ready to go to them anyways, back when everything was shut down. So.
All right. Do y'all only go to the ones in your area, or do you travel outside of your state?
I think we'd like to get to that point. We had one from, was it Delaware, that tried to get us down there.
Yeah.
So it'll happen. I don't know when. I think, for now we'll try to stay locally, like Boston. Obviously, that's a pretty big one. We're going to try to get down there, and just around the New England area for now. But perfect world. I'd love to travel all over, do different cons.
And can they get this through their comic shop, or can their comic shop contact y'all for copies?
Yeah, we definitely want. We've talked to a lot of local comic shops and a lot of local stores too, not just comic shops, but grocery stores, convenience stores, etc., trying to get it on their shelves. So we would love to work with LCS, get that on the shelves nationally, not just locally. That would be the ideal situation.
Yeah, we're working on a few other titles right now, so we probably get up at least 3, and then we'll start to approach some of the other distributors. There's some that are doing specifically like indie books, which is great. I was actually just at my LCS yesterday, local comic shop for those who don't know, LCS. And I was actually looking for indie titles, and there really weren't any there to be had other than, I guess I don't know if you still consider like Boom, those guys like indie, but they had, that stuff, or IDW, but I think they're getting kind of big. But nothing that was really like locally and self-published, because I want to support those guys. And might be something I kind of know the owner over there, so I have to say, like, man, you need to start picking up some indie stuff because it's hot, right? So let's get on that. Yeah.
So I guess this is your very first Kickstarter ever. Was there any challenges with getting it launched, or any problems at all?
I'd say just really the structure of it, setting it all up. I tried to put the skeleton together, if you will, getting the basics in there, but then Joel took over and was adding all the graphics and all that. And I don't know. I think that there's some room to improve for them as far as the formatting and all that. But I think we would have thought that we'd have more challenges than we did with it being our first, especially getting funded in the first 6 hours. That blew our minds. So we had a lot of early backers before Kickstarter. A lot of friends and family, Joel's art fans, they all bought collector's editions from us before we did Kickstarter, which really helped us get the print going before Kickstarter even launched. So we were worried that, hey, we just took that huge percentage of who would back us on Kickstarter. How are we going to get funded now? And then we were very fortunate.
Is there any more of those collector editions floating around?
Potentially a couple, that we saved. Kickstarter has 2 variant cover exclusives only available on Kickstarter. The initial collectors was a numbered 1 through 100 signed by Joel and I. And we sold the majority of those. We had saved a couple just to have for charity or, something like that.
All right. And do y'all offer signing them through the Kickstarter?
Yeah, that's on a couple of the different tiers. But I wanted to show. I can show you. I have a copy of it right here. For the collectors, like, we put this box here. I mean, we made a custom livid stamp to number it 1 through 100. So that's pretty cool. But for the Kickstarter, signing is on. Is it anything 25 and up, Joel? I think I don't know.
Yeah. Yep. So we didn't really, thankfully well with that on the stretch goals. So we've added a lot of extra things, and we're coming up on the $3,000 stretch goal, which is going to be the second variant cover. So anybody that's back 25 or more is going to get basically a free issue with that limited cover variant. You don't have to pledge any higher on the rewards tier. So that's pretty exciting too. One thing that we're tickling, at least that I'm working on, is maybe going to publisher direct to CGC too. So you have a signed graded copy direct from the publisher. So I believe you get their own custom label on that too. That might be a tier that we add in later on, depending on how well things are continuing to go. So that's exciting too.
All right. Do y'all currently work with the publisher?
We are self-publishing. We are it. So we do it all.
All right, cool. Are y'all taking any submissions out there? Like if somebody has their book, can they send it to you?
Yeah, we'd love to hear some stuff. If it's something's out there, we work in the horror, sci-fi, thriller, or suspense genre. So anything that's out there, if we feel it's quality, we definitely want to help people out. So that was kind of the whole idea too, is with Livid Comics, is that we wanted to help get people up over that threshold. Because I've been there, younger, earlier on. I mean, that's why it probably took 35 years for me to get my act together. But some people just need that nudge, right? They say, hey, man, I don't have the money to publish. Cool, well, we'll help you. The story's great. Your art's great. We'll help you with that, right? We'll get that out. We'll put it on our site. We'll hang it on our channels and promote that for you. So that's really what we want to do. We want to help other people get their books up off the ground also.
Yeah. Because we initially, started wanting to make a comic, and then we talked, let's do the publishing thing too, so we want to expand much bigger than just Joel and I making our own comics. So that's where we'd like to see this get to.
Okay. Do y'all have any social medias that you want people to follow you on?
Yeah, I'll take that ball, John, because you like it. I got it memorized. So yeah, facebook.com/Livid Comics, right? Facebook.com/Livid Comics. Instagram is Livid_comics. And then Twitter is just Livid Comic, no S, because somebody took Livid Comics, right? So in classic fashion. So yeah.
All right. Was there anything you want to tell the people before we go?
I think, as far as Yule, any help, whether it's backing us, sharing our campaign, liking our campaign, all that goes a long way. Even a $1 pledge. I think a lot of people don't realize, that to battle the algorithms, a lot of what they look at on Kickstarter is the total number of backers, not just the dollar amount. So even if it's $1, $5, you don't think it's going to help, it absolutely helps, get us showing up higher in the popularity section of Kickstarter. So we appreciate all the people that have already backed us, but anyone that could do anything like that, even small, is a huge help.
Yeah. And some people might say, hey, listen, you guys are already at your goal. Why should I want to back you? You've already hit this goal. Well, we initially set the goal low on purpose, because when I'm on Kickstarter, I back a lot of stuff. John backs a lot of stuff. We like to see that it's, the goal is met, or it's close, because we want to get the rewards, right? So that's good. And also the additional funding is going towards, Yule 2, 3, 4, 5. We have a new title in the works, which we released that news Friday, which is called Dead Ball. So it's going to be a second title. We're working with an artist out of Brazil right now, Rogerio Rios. So that's in production as we speak. So that additional funding is not just for Yule that you see on the campaign. It goes towards adding titles. It can go to helping other artists, writers, publishing, get those people up off the ground. So it just goes into the big pot, and we put it right back into helping everybody else out and getting new work out there for everybody.
Yeah, and the other thing I'd add to that too is we want to put out on a higher quality paper than the standard that you see out there. So I know you probably can't tell from looking here, but the cover is I think 140 grade, and then the interior is 80. So the standard is 70 for a cover and 60 or 70 for interior, I think. So it feels nice and thick, and we want to continue to do that for every single Livid Comics comic that we put out. So in order to do that, the extra funding helps huge.
All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for coming to talk with me.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having us on. Appreciate your time today.